We've now had 3 weeks come and go in the 2013 NFL season, and things are slowly starting to piece together. You're starting to find out who the real contenders are, who the real pretenders are, who the bad teams are, and those teams that are kind of middle of the road, along with some coaches that are possibly already on the hot seat. So with that being said, let me take a look back at week 3 of the 2013 NFL season. Some of the big stories to come out of week number 3, we still have 7, count them 7, undefeated teams in the NFL. And some of the teams you may have expected, teams like the Seattle Seahawks, the Denver Broncos, the New England Patriots, maybe even the Chicago Bears. But a couple of teams you probably didn't anticipate or didn't expect starting off the season so well, starting off 3-0. The Miami Dolphins, the Kansas City Chiefs, who won 2 games in 2012. They have already surpassed last year's win total. They're 3-0. And of course, the New Orleans Saints. Sean Payton's back. They're on a roll right now. They look very good at 3-0. You've got Peyton Manning on a record-setting pace right now. Through 3 games, he has 1,143 passing yards, 12 touchdowns, no interceptions, only 1 fumble loss, and a completion percentage of 73%. Those are record-setting paces. I mean, this is a guy right here in Peyton Manning who looks on point. He's got weapons surrounding him in Demaryius Thomas and Wes Welker and Eric Decker and Julius Thomas. He's got a nice running game to support him as well. Peyton Manning right now looks like he could put up some monster numbers this year, some record-setting numbers, both in terms of passing touchdowns and passing yardage, and maybe even for completion percentage. Incredible. No doubt, when you look at Peyton Manning and his resume over the years, to me, he's proven himself to be the greatest regular season quarterback in NFL history. The greatest regular season quarterback. Because the stuff he does during the regular season, you can't deny. It's impressive. It's incredible. And he's doing more of the same old Peyton Manning stuff in 2013. This offense of the Denver Broncos, I believe, is going to easily surpass the single-season record for most points scored by a team. And they might blow it out of the water. They're blowing teams out of the water. They're putting up 35, 40, 45 points every single game so far. And I don't see any reason why that can't continue. You've also got 6 winless teams in the NFL. Now, some of the teams, they may not surprise you with them being winless, teams like the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But you also have some teams that are a little bit surprising that they're 0-3. Teams like maybe the Pittsburgh Steelers, the New York Giants, the Minnesota Vikings. You know, these are teams that you may have expected a little bit more out of. I didn't with the Steelers, but these are teams that are 0-3 and haven't looked all that good on their way to 0-3. So while you've got some teams that are feeling very good about themselves right now, you have some teams that are in what you would probably classify in must-win panic mode, because if they go 0-4, it's pretty much curtains on their entire season. So now, after 3 weeks, you've got 7 undefeated teams, and the question is, which teams are for real, which ones are real legit contenders, and they are legitimate, and they're going to be in the picture all year long, and which teams that are 3-0 are kind of just off to a hot start and might be a little fluky, and what teams are kind of on the fence or on the borderline. Well, let's start off with the teams that are definitely legit. The Seattle Seahawks and the Denver Broncos. The Seahawks, to me, are the most complete, well-balanced team in all of the NFL. To me, right now, the favorites for the Super Bowl, no question about it. Not just out of the NFC, but the favorites to win it. The Denver Broncos are legit, just primarily based off of the strength of their offense being led by Peyton Manning. They're going to put up record numbers this year, but their defense is still a little questionable. The thing is, you score that many points, you can overcome a less than stellar defense, and maybe that defense will get better once Von Miller gets back in the mix in a few weeks. But I think right now everybody can agree that the Seattle Seahawks and the Denver Broncos are the 2 truly elite teams in the NFL and the favorites right now out of their respective conferences to go to the Super Bowl. Teams that I'm kind of on the fence on, that they could be legitimate, they may not be. You look at the Chicago Bears. They're 3-0, yes, but you look at their 3-0, and they had to come back late to beat Cincinnati. They had to come back late to beat Minnesota, who's 0-3, and they almost let the Pittsburgh Steelers back into the game and gave them a chance to win it this past Sunday night. The Bears' defense is playing okay, but I don't feel it's playing spectacular. They're still forcing some turnovers, scoring some points, but they're giving up some yardage, and they are giving up some points. The Bears' offense, you've got Brandon Marshall, you've got Martellus Bennett, you've got Matt Forte in the passing game. That's it. Offensive line is doing a better job of protecting Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler is definitely doing a better job in key situations and key moments of making a big play, making the right play. He had that statement play Sunday night in the game against the Steelers where he lowered his head on a run. But you look at Trestman's play calling right now, in week 3 in particular, that game against Pittsburgh, I feel like his play calling almost cost the team. Too many short dink and dunk passes, that piece of trash, Alshon Jeffrey. Too much running the football, not enough trying to stretch the field with Brandon Marshall and Martellus Bennett. So if they can get this play calling in order and that defense can play just a little bit better, they could very well be legit. But the Bears the last 2 years have also gotten off to incredibly hot starts only to fade late in the year. So until proven otherwise, this Bears team could very well do the same thing. The New England Patriots, they're 3-0, but they haven't been very impressive. You know, they barely beat the Bills, who are 1-2. They barely beat the Jets, who are kind of a soft 2-1. And then they beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are 0-3. The offense has looked so far. You do have Gronkowski coming back into the fold now, which is definitely going to help Tom Brady in that Patriots offense. But I'm not fully sold on them yet either. They could be legit, but I just feel like they're more of the same old Patriots of the past few years. A team that's going to win 11, 12, maybe 13 regular season games, and then come playoff time, they're going to fade out of the picture early. The Kansas City Chiefs are another team that I might look at as a maybe. You know, they're playing good, solid, all-around football. Alex Smith isn't really lighting the world on fire, no big surprise there, but he's also not killing him. He's a little bit of an upgrade over Matt Castle. But the defense is playing very, very well. Justin Houston is a complete stud on that defense. Offensively, they've got Jamal Charles in the running game, so they can defend and they can run the ball. That's the formula to, worst case scenario, at least make it to the playoffs. So I think the Kansas City Chiefs are going to stick around all year, and they might be a team that wins 11 games. Who knows? Teams that I'm not fully sold on yet. The Miami Dolphins, they are 3-0, and I like them very much, and I think they could potentially be a wild card team this year, but they are 3-0. It's still early. They've beaten teams on the road. Yes, they're 2-0 on the road, but they've beaten teams like the Cleveland Browns. And then at home, they beat the Atlanta Falcons, who, ladies and gentlemen, are not as good of a football team as you might have been led to believe. So there are still some questions here. For Miami, it's going to be key that they beat the Patriots at least once if they have any real shot of trying to win that division. The New Orleans Saints. The Saints right now are 3-0, and a lot of people are impressed by them. They've got Sean Payton back, so I'm sure that organization, that fan base feels very good, and a lot of people around the NFL have been impressed. But this is a cautionary tale. They're 3-0, yes, but their defense is still not all that good. Their running game is kind of They've got that multiple-headed monster that really doesn't do a whole heck of a lot. Sometimes they get a little too pass-happy, and when you look at the teams they've beaten so far, the Saints have beaten a Falcons team who isn't all that good. They've beaten a Buccaneers team who really isn't that good, and they've beaten a mediocre Arizona Cardinals team. So when you look at the Saints, you know, if you want to tell me that they're legit, okay, that's fine, but I'm going to reserve that feeling until I see them actually beat somebody legitimate. When I look at coaches that are on the hot seat, that's always one of our favorite topics to discuss every year, especially early on in the season. You look at some teams like the Jacksonville Jaguars, I don't think Gus Bradley's on the hot seat yet because that organization should have known that their team was terrible. They were still going to pay the price for drafting Blaine Gabbert. They were going to pay the price for poor drafting over the past few years. So that's not a great surprise. He should be safe. Mike Tomlin, the Steelers are 0-3. He should be relatively safe. Leslie Frazier, his Vikings are 0-3, but they've lost 3 games in a relatively close fashion. As a result, I don't think he's quite on the hot seat just yet. He's going to get there if they continue to lose, but I don't think he's there yet. The 3 coaches I look at whose seats are the warmest right now, you've got Greg Schiano of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Not only are they 0-3, but there's been rumblings about players not being happy, in particular Darrelle Revis. You've got all the crap going on with the quarterback position where Josh Freeman hasn't played well, and it doesn't seem like they've really tried to support him in any way, shape, or form. If the Tampa Bay Buccaneers continue to struggle and they continue to lose and they, get to the halfway point of the season and they're like 2-6 or 1-7, it wouldn't surprise me at all to see Greg Schiano get dumped. Mike Shanahan of the Washington Redskins. I told you before the season started that I thought the Redskins were going to come crashing back down to earth in 2013. 2012 was a bit of a fantasy ride, and so far I've been proven exactly correct. The Redskins are 0-3. RG3 still looks a little shaky. His relationship with Shanahan allegedly isn't all that great, and their defense can't stop anybody. The bottom line is when you've got Daniel Snyder as your owner, you're just wondering how long it's going to take him before he starts acting like Daniel Snyder again. As a result, he's going to overreact, he's going to panic, and he's going to start firing people and chopping heads off. Well, it wouldn't surprise me at all if the Redskins go like 1-7 or 2-6 halfway through the season. Shanahan could very well be jettisoned. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Perhaps the single hottest seat, though, is Tom Coughlin in the New York Jets. It's amazing when you win 2 Super Bowls that you could still be on the hot seat. But when you look at Coughlin, this is a Giants team that's 0-3, and they've looked terrible all 3 games. They can't run the ball. They're turning the ball over. They can't stop anyone. They look like a lot of these other Tom Coughlin-led Giant teams over the years, that they lack leadership, they lack focus, they lack discipline. And in that New York media market, you're starting off 0-3, the pressure cooker is only going to continue to intensify. As a result, I think Tom Coughlin probably has, even with the 2 Super Bowl victories, probably has the shortest leash right now. And if the Giants don't start turning it around very, very soon and making a season out of 2013, I would not be surprised to see Tom Coughlin, based off of his tenure there and based off of some of the problems over the years, I would not be surprised at all to see Tom Coughlin be the first coach to get the axe during the 2013 season. Ahead to week 4, there are a few matchups that have really piqued my interest. Obviously, my Chicago Bears traveling to Detroit to take on the Lions. The road to 7-0 before the bye week continues, but the Lions have looked somewhat impressive so far, and they're 2-1, so they definitely can't be taken very lightly. The Bears need to come out and win this game in a comfortable fashion. No last-minute stuff this time. No making it interesting. We'll see what happens there. The Seattle Seahawks travel to Houston to take on a Texans team that last week kind of got steamrolled by the Baltimore Ravens, whereas the Seahawks have been pretty much dominant throughout the first 3 weeks, in particular on the defensive side of the football. But I look at this matchup and I say this is a danger game for the Seattle Seahawks, because when you look at closer at the numbers, the Houston Texans have given up quite a few points on defense, but they haven't given up a lot of yards. If the Texans can take care of the football and control the clock, not turn it over to the Seahawks, the Houston Texans, with their ability to run the football and also throw the football to Andre Johnson and DeAndre Hopkins and Owen Daniels and Garrett Graham and Arian Foster out of the backfield, the Texans can make a very big game out of it and even knock off these Seattle Seahawks. You've got 2 surprise 2-1 teams facing off. You've got the Jets going to Tennessee to take on the Titans. This will be an interesting matchup. 2 young quarterbacks, Geno Smith taking on Jake Locker. Geno needs to take better care of the football, but he does have the Jets at 2-1. At least there's a different feeling, a better aura around the Jets with Geno Smith leading the way as opposed to Mark Sanchez. As opposed to the Tennessee Titans, they still need more out of Jake Locker. Yes, they're 2-1, but he really hasn't done a whole hell of a lot, even though he was a little bit more impressive on that game-winning drive against the Chargers last week. The winner of this game is going to go 3-1, which will be a hell of a start for one of these 2 teams and put them squarely in the AFC playoff picture. The Sunday night game, the New England Patriots traveling to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. This is a matchup here of a 3-0 team in the Patriots that hasn't really impressed me, going against a 1-2 team in Atlanta and the Falcons that hasn't really impressed me. The Falcons are without Steven Jackson, which I really don't feel is much of a downgrade at all. The Patriots, they might get Gronkowski back for this game, so they might have a little bit more for Tom Brady to work with on the offensive side of the football. But it is still tough to beat the Atlanta Falcons at home, ultimately. A great primetime matchup on Sunday night. 2 stud quarterbacks, Tom Brady versus Matt Ryan. If you love traditional white, tall, pocket-passing quarterbacks, by God, this is the fucking game for you. And then the Monday night game. 2 surprise 3-0 teams. The Miami Dolphins traveling to the Superdome to take on the New Orleans Saints. Whoever wins this game has got to be feeling really damn good about themselves. I would lean towards the Saints right now at this moment just because it's really hard to win at the Superdome, and the Saints have to be feeling good about themselves. But I won't undersell the Dolphins. It'll be a fascinating matchup to me between Drew Brees and Ryan Tannehill. So week 4 has plenty of possibilities for exciting games. I know you guys have to be looking forward to them, and I know I'm sure looking forward to them as well.